Grace is not something that we earn. And with grace, we come as we are. And so if I felt anger, if I felt the need for revenge, I would show up to God exactly like that. Like something happened to me, I feel violated, my brain was injured, I felt victimized. Can you help me? Can you help me to heal? And I think that's when grace can come.
Hello, friend. Welcome. I'm your host, Carlene Cadet Francois from Florida Assisted Living Consulting. We help busy professionals convert buildings into thriving, licensed assisted living communities and group homes right here in Florida. We are also the organizers behind the annual Assisted Living Caregivers Conference for Florida entrepreneurs that are trying to get into the caregiving industry. We are planning the 2026 conference, but this conference is a conference that we have every year. Click the link in the description where you can learn more information about it. We also build community. Inside of my Thriving Circle community, I meet my community members monthly, where I give them step-by-step guidelines and steps that helps them get unstuck. Click the link in the description where you can learn more. I am here with the amazing V, Dr. V. She was on the show before, but we had to do a part 2. The conversation was so good. There was so much for us to cover. And I'm like, can I have you back? Today, she is back with us. We're going to dive into where we picked up at. But before we get started, could you please consider to like, subscribe, and share this video with someone that will find it valuable? We need your help to reach our first 5,000 subscribers. Thank you so much in advance. Valencie Exceus. Dr. V is a licensed acupuncturist and holistic healing practitioner serving South Florida since 2006. With over 19 years of clinical experience, Dr. V blends culture, spirituality, and medicine to help people heal from chronic pain, anxiety, depression, and trauma. She is also known for creating a safe space through embodied meditation and healing circles, helping individuals reconnect with themselves and their communities. Dr. V, I am so excited to have you on the show. Could you please reintroduce yourself?
Oh, thank you so much for having me, Carlene. I'm so excited to be back. So I would reintroduce myself as a daughter, sister, a friend of many, and a member of the South Florida community. One of the things that's really important to me is to establish what I call horizontal connections. A lot of the painful dynamics that we have in this world today are because we tend to have vertical, hierarchical connections where someone must be on top and someone else must be at the bottom. So it matters a lot to me that whenever I meet others, that we can connect at the level of the heart. So I would say I'm a heart-centered person. That would be the reintroduction.
I love that because I always talk about being heart-centered, or you'll hear me talking about somebody and I will say they have the right heart sets, because I think our heart, if we just think about the process of life, for example, one thing that I found to be so fascinating was whenever you hear like a child's heartbeat, you like kudup, 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 kudup. And you're like, the heart is created before anything else out of your entire body. So it's like, I think that's why if someone end up with the right heart set, and I can attest, you do have the right heart set.
Thank you.
They end up making huge difference in society. I'm excited to dive into our conversation, see how you're using your heart sets to connect with people. And you sent me some connections as well. Thank you for that.
Oh, thank you. Thank you for the connections as well. Yeah. I love what you just said about the heart and how it begins with the heart. And I had last time I shared with all of you that I had the misfortune of being misdiagnosed when I had a urinary tract infection that impacted my brain. However, when I look back at that experience, I had a rare opportunity to experience the heart as its own processing center, independent of the brain. So I have now a very embodied memory of what it feels like when the brain is down. When the brain is down, our primal animalistic aspect takes over. That's the part of us that helps us to survive. A lot of time we think of it as maybe violent or sexual, but it's just like our natural childlike state where children function, or animal. If you see a cat walking or a lion walking, minding their business, they're just being normal. They don't necessarily have to be violent or sexual. So we have turned a lot of things to the we have seen, we have misperceived certain things, but I got to really experience just that natural flow of just being human, and also experiencing how the heart truly processes, similar to the brain, how the heart contains memory. I was reliving and remembering things through the heart from
Wow.
childhood. It was like an entire life revision through the
Wow.
heart. And I also got to experience the right side of the brain, that capacity to experience timelessness. And I got to experience what I call the soul. And so it was trauma coupled with one of the most amazing experiences of my life. And to heal the trauma, I had a choice, and I think we always have a choice, to take a heart-centered approach or to go through the route of maybe revenge, vengeance, or seeking justice when it's not available. So I chose to forgive.
That is so powerful, to choose to forgive after all of this happens. And of course, in retrospective, you're looking at it, you're like, I got to experience all of these amazing symptoms that came with you being able to distinguish between what the heart is saying versus what the soul is saying, what the left side of the brain is saying versus what the right side is saying. That is like you went through the university of discovery, pretty much. Most people get stuck in, oh, this happened to me, the victimhood. And and I also understand, to forgive, it takes a lot of maturity. You have to be mature. How are you able to release and be able to forgive? Is there any tips that you can give us?
Oh, yes, it wasn't easy. So it's similar to the last podcast. In retrospect, when I share some of those things like grace or forgiveness, they might sound easy, but at least for me, they weren't, because by nature, I love justice. And I think most children do, like toddlers, they know if something feels unjust and they'll say, that's not fair. And so I
Mm-hmm.
think that's really ingrained in us. We also have, the heart also has the capacity to feel more than one thing at once. And being heart centered it's actually not easy and fluffy. If you are living a heart centered life, it means that sometimes you get to be with the paradox of life. You can be with joy and sadness. You can be with the desire for forgiveness and the desire for revenge. You can be with anger and fear. And so the complexity of the heart gives us this capacity to hold the complexity of life. And so after everything happened, I did not abandon the part of me that was injured or that was victimized, because when an injustice happened, we do have what's called true victimization. So this
Mm-hmm.
society is actually very uncomfortable with
Mm-hmm.
victimization. It becomes an issue when we get stuck there, when we
Mm-hmm.
refuse to heal. But we can have accidents can happen, and sometimes people can really harm us, and they mean it, they choose that. And so if it's an accident, it's easier to forgive. It's easier to
Mm-hmm.
forgive if you think, okay, this person made a mistake. So in my case with the doctor, when I didn't know whether or not it was a mistake, whether or not it was intentional, then I was oscillating between feelings of anger, feelings of powerlessness. And what actually made it easier to forgive was meeting him and realizing, oh, it was a genuine mistake. And
Wow.
so, but the journey to get there was oscillating and also praying and being with the truth of my feelings. So it took a good year before life connected us together. We just so happened to be in the same conference. So conferences can be powerful. I,
Wow.
I recommend them. I recommend going
I go to them all the
to the
time.
conference, to the ALF conference. And so then to go back to the journey and to the process, I really had to pray because as a healthcare provider, as a healer, I need my heart to work with patients.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
So when an injustice happened and I start having feelings like, you know what I want? I want him to experience, let's see how he reacts if they give him that medication.
Mm-hmm.
Let's give him this medication for precisely 12 days and see what happens. And so once I start veering into those thoughts, now I am risking my own heart and my own capacity of healing. So I knew that this was going to impact me and how I show up for patients. So I kept working on it and praying. And then I connected with him as a young man. And I asked myself, why did he go into medicine? What led to this? And I have a feeling that most people who go into healthcare because they want to help. And so I had to have compassion for him, understanding that the same way I want to help others, I'm sure he wants to help others the same way. And it just so happened that he was actually one of the founders of the organization.
Wow.
So he means help. He means well for society. He wants to promote healing. And so it was a very powerful meeting. And afterward, I got to forgive him. And some of my friends said, don't trust him. And I said, please let me have that. I know you're saying that because you care. You want me to fight. You want me to have justice. But my heart depends on this. Let me have this moment of forgiveness where we talk, we look in each other's eyes, and we had a genuine heart-to-heart, soul connection. And not only did he apologize, he also asked me a very validating question, understanding the severity of that medication. And he said, how did you come back from this?
Wow.
Me a year later. And so that was very validating because he understood where I was versus my friends and family. They didn't understand it. So as I was going through the recovery process, it felt a little bit isolating because it's like, as much as they love me, I went through something that they didn't understand. And so that level of validation was priceless. And also the part of me that wants justice, that wants change, have now made it part of my long-term mission to bring awareness, to speak to other healthcare providers, to speak in conferences so that this mistake is not made. Because before I could answer how I came back from this, he said to me, you make me believe in God even more.
Oh,
And so that's beautiful. At the moment, it was like, wow, that's beautiful. Afterward, I thought, well, you know what? If you have the power to prescribe something so powerful that could mess up someone for life, you should actually know how to bring them back.
Yes.
And so from that space, I forgive, my heart is open, and I can see the human being who made a mistake, who is giving so much power to heal and also to harm. And so I'm still keeping him and the system accountable to say, well, maybe we should learn how to bring people back. And so it's going to be a long-term process of contributing as much as I can to restoration, not just for me, but for other patients. And at the same time, so this is where we don't want to get stuck in victimization. I can't give my entire life force to this. Prior to this, I had dreams and goals that had nothing to do with any of this. So from a space of generosity, I can contribute to these changes, but I must continue with the goals and the plans that I had for my life before this incident.
This video is brought to you by the Florida Assisted Living and Caregivers Conference. It is an annual conference for all those who want to open an assisted living right here in Florida. We bring you all of the who's that will help you achieve your ALF. We have caregivers, we have people that already have their assisted living up and running, and they are here for resources. We have caregivers caring for mom and dad at home, but lack resources, so they show up for more resources. We have investors that are in the room looking for partnerships because they don't necessarily want to manage, but they are looking for someone to do the day-to-day while they can do the other investments. We also bring to you all of the sub-industries, those providers that help you get your ALF up and running, the providers that will come to your ALF to provide services to your seniors. We bring everyone in the room for the first time. This event normally sells out. Click the link in the description and I will see you in the room. Can I just say how proud I am of you? I am so proud of you.
Thank
I've had
you.
to forgive people when I go to my prayer corner and I'm like, oh, justice to the land. Da, 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 da. And God is saying, pray for that person. I'm like, well, damn, God, did you realize what they did to me? You know? So I've been to places where it's easier said than done. When God is like, you need to pray for this person. You need to not only pray for them, and then God give you the dream to go deliver them over something that hurts you the most. You're like, God, what's the point of this? But then you have to learn to obey, and those things are not easy. I didn't go through what you went through. I imagine it was pure horror, but to see how you have positioned it and be able to let someone see God in you, to say, oh, I believe God, perhaps that was the bigger purpose, right? Because we go through things so that God's will can be done. Easier said than done. And it turns out, so you went to this conference, talking about being in the right place at the right time. The doctor who did this to you was there. And you're saying he organized the
It,
event?
he's one of the founders of the organization. It was a 2-day conference. So we were each speakers, and he was speaking on day 1. I was speaking on day 2. And it just so happened that he was speaking on medication management. So it was just like, whoa, God really arranged this.
He
And
did.
yes, and I want to share what he said to me in addition to saying, you make me believe in God even more. So he already believed in God. And then he said, my wife and I are part of a prayer group where we pray every Thursday. Can I pray for you?
Oh,
Yeah, it was beautiful. And I say, yes. And I say, I have been praying for you. And I did
wow.
pray for both of us because I could have gone the route of lawsuit, which is actually very difficult in the state of Florida. And I really did pray for him because if he made a mistake as a fellow healthcare provider, I can forgive that. If it's like a
Mhm.
genuine mistake, I really can, because I know what it's like to study, to be licensed, to be board certified.
And the student loans?
Right. Yes. And so I would pray for both of us because I felt like my soul was at risk, because I felt so much anger and a desire to get even. And it was affecting my capacity to return to my work with open heart, with grace, with love. I absolutely need that kind of heart for my work.
Mhm.
And so I thought, who is this guy? Like, why is this karmic thing? Why is this happening with us? Like, why should I be the one who takes him to the law?
Mm-hmm.
And maybe that's part of his karmic path. If it is, then it will be someone else. But I didn't want to go through that. So I was asking God, if it is your will, if you could change this for me.
Yes,
So
and
it
he
was like,
often don't.
and so it was a lot of prayer. And I also believe in being honest with God. We talked a lot about grace in the last podcast. So for me, my definition of grace is that grace is not something that we earn. And with grace, we come as we are.
Mm-hmm.
And so if I felt anger, if I felt the need for revenge, I would show up to God exactly like that. Like,
Mm-hmm.
something happened to me, I feel violated, my brain was injured, I felt victimized. Can you help me? Can you help me to heal? And I think that's when grace can come and help us
Amen.
to restore, if we can show up and be truthful about that. And so it ended up concluding or coming to a place of completion in the way that I think only grace could do it. That I had been praying for him, and hopefully he's still praying for me. It's been a year.
Wow, that is so amazing. I think it all started with you, though, because of the energy that you bring into the situation, and God is able to do his work through you. And now you're praying for him. I think it all started with you because you could have gone that route. I love that about you. Literally, like, I think most of us have had to forgive, but I've been in situations where it's not even close to what you went through, and I struggle to do those things. So I can only imagine the capacity and the maturity you had to go through for God to be able to do his work through you. And you could even see his heart. He's part of these organizers to bring awareness. And there he is, and he made this crucial mistake. And now he had the opportunity to meet you, so every time he go prescribe a medication, I would imagine he's thinking about your face, what that could do to another you. And I'm pretty sure that's got to change his life.
I think so. And I think it would have been my first public appearance speaking as a professional. And the part of me that went through that I call the patient. So there's the patient and there's
Mm-hmm.
the doctor. I could feel like this part of me had a little bit of shame. Like, I have to go to this conference and put my professional persona and just
Mm-hmm.
bring it, because that's, to me, that was the healing, the restoration. Every few weeks or few months, I will text my friends like, I'm back. She's back.
Oh,
I'm back. And then, but right before that, it was like, oh, but I don't want to leave this part of me behind. And
yes, I'm proud
so
of you for that.
then when I had the opportunity to speak to him, it was like, oh, she's going to get her day. Well, I did get my day in court. I did get to
Good
engage
for
with him. It
you.
was publicly, by the way.
Yes,
I
good
did
for
ask him
you.
the question about my case. I was in the audience, and as soon as they said, do you have any questions? So I quickly raised my hand and I asked about a specific case, and it was me. And I did like the way he answered. And then afterward, then I say, I was the patient, you were the doctor. And everyone
Oh,
was like,
wow.
I did give that satisfaction.
Good for
And at that
you.
moment, then I said, I can tell you are a good doctor. And so that's how we ended up connecting. However, I also want to be mindful what is called fawning in trauma healing. So fawning can happen when there is a power differential. If
Mm-hmm.
someone harmed us and there's a power differential, and then we end up fawning and abasing ourselves for safety, so that we forgive too fast because we want to be safe. And so I had to be careful throughout that 1 year period to make sure
Mm-hmm.
I felt my feelings, that I did not bypass it. So sometimes when we talk about forgiveness, people bypass the anger and the hurt to quickly forgive, but it's just covering it. So it is important that we go through the process of feeling and healing until we get there. So for me, forgiveness is not a first step, it's an inevitable consequence of healing. So I wanted to
Mm.
make sure I share that.
I love that. Yeah, and there's a huge difference. So you have to allow yourself to feel and go through the process because something did happen to you. It did affect you. And remember, forgiveness is for ourselves, not for the
Mhm.
person who did that thing to you. Because when you don't forgive, your heart is closed. But the minute you forgive, you're back to open. And it's in the openness, everything comes into you. I love that. I love your energy. I love what you stand for. Thank you for what you do because I feel like you love what you do so much that you would not allow your heart to like stay closed. You got to get that heart back open and you will do
Yeah.
whatever you need to do. And I feel it's the passion behind what you do.
Yes, and also I got to truly experience my heart by itself without the brain, without all of our defense mechanism.
Mhm.
Our heart is so open. And
That's
I
got to
mean
be
it.
so
So when it
beautiful.
was happening, when I came out of the hospital, I have a very good friend of mine, and I was like, I need to process so much with you, like through the heart. So I did get to really journey and feel everything and the love and everything.
Wow.
Because I knew after a while, as I recover, the defenses will come back, all
Yes.
the cultural programmings, all everything. And so they did. They're there. We need a lot of that. And I still have access to the heart. So I would
Oh,
not let
what a
that go.
gift.
But without those two, I think we might come across a little too naive. I think the heart and the mind needs to be aligned and anchored in the wisdom or our shared inherited collective wisdom. So that's how I envision the alignment is having the mind, the heart, and the collective wisdom. Otherwise, the heart by itself, my God.
We'd be a mess, right?
So it's good to really, really know it's there and to feel it, and then to know it's in there and everyone is just hidden or frozen or blocked. We just have so many things that block it.
I love it so much. Any last word for my audience? I mean, there's so much. We got to do a part three. There's so much that we haven't talked about that I want us to talk about. Any
Yeah.
last word for my audience? How do they find you? How do they connect with you?
I'll quickly transition to what we could talk about in part three, which is
Okay.
part of what really helped me to choose forgiveness as well, is witnessing how my mom's dementia automatically made her more forgiving. Some of the things she was holding on to, some of those memories got deleted. So seeing how much lighter she is because some
Oh,
of the painful memories got deleted made me want to forgive now because I don't want dementia to delete them for me. So I want to forgive
wow.
them now. So I wanted to reconnect back to our first podcast, and maybe we could talk about that next time.
Yes, definitely.
Yes. And so the way to connect with me through the website, which is regulatemyhealth.com. The phone number for the office is 954-390-0411, 954-390-0411. You can send text messages. You can also write to us on WhatsApp using this number. And then I have my online schedule, which is really the best way to figure out how to work together. And it's to livingfully.as.me. So to livingfully.as.me. And it will take you directly to my schedule with my menu of services, packages, online and offline services.
So amazing. So amazing. Go and check out her website. I am going to have the team link her information in the description, and we are going to have her back because
Oh,
there's
thank you.
so many layers of things that we got to talk about, that we just got to talk about. Thank you so much. I know that you're very busy making a difference in the community. Thank you for taking the time to come out, educate my audience and myself as well. She will be speaking at the ALF Caregivers Conference in January. Check the link in the description to learn more. Until next time, please consider to like, subscribe, and share this video with someone that will find it valuable. Talk soon. Thank you so much for spending this time with us. Bye. This video is brought to you by the Florida Assisted Living and Caregivers Conference. It is an annual conference for all those who want to open an assisted living right here in Florida. We bring you all of the who's that will help you achieve your ALF. We have caregivers, we have people that already have their assisted living up and running, and they are here for resources. We have caregivers caring for mom and dad at home, but lack resources, so they show up for more resources. We have investors that are in the room looking for partnerships because they don't necessarily want to manage, but they are looking for someone to do the day-to-day while they can do the other investments. We also bring to you all of the sub-industries, those providers that help you get your ALF up and running, the providers that will come to your ALF to provide services to your seniors. We bring everyone in the room for the first time. This event normally sells out. Click the link in the description and I will see you in the room.